let's talk about Virgil Van Dijk then, Errol, please. The very, very, very good, the bad and the ugly, but predominantly very, very, very good. His ratings are 7.4 off SofaScore and 7.3 both off Who Scored and FOTMob. His overall defensive display was unbelievable. I thought he headed everything, blocked everything, didn't give Haaland a sniff. He was happy to, if the ball got played in, he was happy to engage and go out. Blocks are plenty, just being in the right place at the right time. It felt like Virgil was, especially from a purely defensive point of view, was really on his game.
He really was. We mentioned early into the first half, there's an opportunity, a ball goes into Haaland and Van Dijk's there, gets that block in early, and you just think, yeah, that's what you want. Win those duels nice and early against Haaland and let him know that you're there, let him know that he's not going to have the rub of it. And there's a couple of moments where, they go into it shoulder to shoulder and Van Dijk comes away with the ball again as well, showing his real strength against somebody like Haaland and just chipping away at his confidence, just making him feel insignificant in anything that he's trying to do. And you're not going to walk around me, you're not going to play past me, you're not going to be able to knock it past me and beat me for pace. Anything that you want to do, I will eat it up. And then there was one that was that really impressed me, and it was the raking ball that goes in and he's facing towards his goal, and he, as Haaland's about to kind of run it into his path, he just hooks it and just clears it away completely. And again, from a striker's perspective in those moments when you just think, I'm absolutely getting nothing, the service is shocking, I'm not getting fed the ball enough, and anything that does come close to me, these two centre halves around me are just absolutely rinsing me for fun and eating everything up in front of me. It just went on, and the longer it went on, I think City could have been out there all night and they probably still wouldn't have scored this evening, just how good the partnership was, but in particular Virgil van Dijk. I do think if we flip that now to the not so good, there was moments, and I've referenced it just because of, I remember 13-14 and Martin Skirtle, I think he scored 7 goals for us in terms of contributing from a defender's point of view. And I thought, that's brilliant, that if you've got a centre back that's chipping in with 7 goals and he's a sound enough defensively, you should be pushing for a title, you should be challenging. And obviously we do challenge that season, but those goals always stood out for me in terms of the impact that it was having over the course of the season, coming up with big moments. And I liken that to what Arsenal have got in Gabriel at the moment. He seems to be the defender that if there's a ball that goes into the box, he's going to meet it with real intent and try and score a goal. And I just think there was at least 2 chances for Virgil today. I think the one where the goalkeeper gets a fingertip to it, okay, you can argue he's equal to it, but it's the second one for me. That second one where he's free on goal, reins in, he just can't direct the header on target. And then of course there is the other one where he meets it at the near post from the other side as well. And I just think if we are going to continue in this vein, Liverpool could potentially do with someone who pops up just from those set pieces, and Virg is that guy for us. I just want to see him score a couple more.
Yeah, like I said, Liverpool are top of the league and they haven't quite unlocked the set piece thing yet, really. And you're right, they've done well to get him. He should have scored the second one. I think the first one's a great save. Yeah. The third one is a tough chance, but he probably gets a bit too much on it. But I would agree he should have scored, and he knew that himself as well. And it's worth mentioning because I want to go back to the good, so let's do a little bit more bad now. It's the second game in the league in a row where he's kind of farted about at the back a little bit. We give a penalty away against Southampton because one of them, and today he gets it maybe again over the skis or whatever. Liverpool are winning, and granted it's 2-0, but there's still like 7 odd minutes to go, and he maybe just needs to switch on a little bit because he tries this mad turn against Kevin De Bruyne when he could have just given it back to Quivine Keller, and he's thankful for his goalie. So while he has been great, and I think he overall defensively back to somewhere near his best, just a little bit of polishing around the edges.
Yeah, those little lapses of concentration, obviously. And
that's sorry to interrupt you. I know how you're doing it, but that's strange from a captain to do that.
Yeah,
that's not really what your captain should do. The captain, he done really well in his post-game interview. 1 game at a time. 11 points, 9 points, doesn't matter. He spoke like a captain, but there's been 2 league games in a row now where he hasn't displayed that in terms of captains don't piss about there, if that makes sense.
No, it doesn't. I can take the point in the sense that from a leader, someone who's meant to be leading us, he shouldn't be dropping clangers that are just basically putting us under any real unnecessary stress and unnecessary trouble, really, because Liverpool were in control at that point, as you just mentioned. We was 2-0 up, we was kind of cruising. City looked like they had started to run out of ideas a little bit. You don't want to be the reason that you gift them a goal and get them back into the game and make those last 10 or however many minutes really fiery, tricky, you feel like you're under the cosh a little bit. We can alleviate all of that by just playing smart, and I think that's one of the things that Slot has really looked to implement. I know we'll mention it a little bit when we talk about Szoboszlai in particular, but just in particular, certain moments of the game, don't go and do too much. Don't be too extra. Don't try and shoot from crazy angles when we're in good positions. Just take care of the ball, look after it a little bit. That game management, and I think in large part Liverpool have managed that throughout the course of the season so far really well, and I think we've got the ingredients to continue to do that. But again, individual moments can cost you, especially at this level of football, and it is going to be those fine margins come the end of the season. We might have an 11-point lead right now, can almost guarantee that the league will not finish by a margin of 11 points. So that means that Liverpool are still going to have to manage many situations, and you want it to be your captain providing that security and that security blanket for the team. And in those moments, it's not to say for any minute now that I'm going to start doubting Van Dijk, but he just needs to cut those out of his game again to just kind of give reassurance to the team that when we're in control, we're actually in control.
Absolutely, but it shouldn't take away, I don't think, Errol, from how good, I'm going to say, how great defensively he was. I know Man City, the way he plays weird, and they don't get Haaland the ball too much anyway. He had 16 touches of the ball, and they were trying to find him in loads of different ways. So they tried over the top, and Van Dijk was tried to go short, and Van Dijk was on him, up against them. And I said there was a couple of times when he was forced into, what he's so good at is when balls are fired across, and especially when Silvinho and Doku come on, there was a lot of balls coming low into Liverpool's box. Gomez was one of the ones dealing with, but also Virgil. It seems like, again, the brain fart aside, and hopefully he learns from that, and he could have scored a goal, and that would have been an ideal Brucey bonus on top of it, but his general defensive play was there's a lot of people who keep saying that the players coming for the crown of whether it's the best winger we've got him in Salah or the best defender. It's still the Virgil Van Dijk's still the benchmark. He's still the gold standard.
Yeah, of course he is. And everyone compares themselves to having the best by Virgil standards, and nobody's really been able to eclipse that, and not even for a sustained period of time or a short period where you think, wow, they're performing out of this world, out of the skin. That's better than we've ever seen from Virgil van Dijk, because they'd just be lying, because that's never been the case. And I just think Virgil's had critics and responded in the best possible way in terms of how he's reassembled himself, and obviously trying to push himself to his peak performance and back to the levels that we seen pre-Pickford injury, so to speak. So I think from a Liverpool fan perspective now, it is about making sure that, we manage these lads' minutes, and there's no more injuries to some of our big key players that, make up the spine of this team in terms of that, the lads that have given us this foundation so far, because we're tethering on that border now. If we ended up getting a big injury to, God forbid, Van Dijk, it would look quite different with the Quansah and Gomez partnership at this moment in time. So I'm fairly confident that everything that we've seen in terms of the good is going to be a reoccurring theme, and we're going to continue to see more good elements from what Virgil van Dijk's doing for this Liverpool team at the moment. I just think there is those lapses and those few little moments which just might need to be tweaked or basically just eradicated out of his game, and it's pretty much flawless from there on out.
It's worth mentioning, some of his passing was great. The Van Dijk switch of play was on again, and you are right, Liverpool are at the moment time up against it. I know, shock horror, we're not allowed to talk about injuries because only other teams get them. Well, Liverpool are down to the bare bones. Arne Slot says, we're down to 5 defenders, and actually only only 2 of them are natural fullbacks. Everyone else is someone doing a job, whether it's a Gomez or a Quansah moving out there. There'll be times when it gets tough. You never just walk a title race. There's going to be times it gets tough. And if Virgil can defend like he defended today, then Liverpool are in a massive position, because, again, clean sheet. And I understand Manchester City on free flowing at the moment, and they offer more than a little bit, but I think there'll be times when Virgil's going to need to play like he did today for us to continue this.
Yeah, no, I agree, and I think he's got it in his locker though, and they definitely seem up for it at the moment. The momentum going into this game, this week, Real Madrid, you're coming up against some of the best attackers in the world in terms of Kylian Mbappe, then you're coming up against Erling Haaland a couple of days later, and you're getting the job done whilst keeping those clean sheets as well. I said, we could have beaten Real Madrid 4-0 in the week, and it wouldn't have looked like a crazy result based on the performance, and we probably could have beat City again at least 3-0 today, and it wouldn't have looked off. But those clean sheets are absolutely massive in terms of what it's doing psychologically for the players' beliefs that, you know what, it doesn't matter, because if we can keep the back door shut, we've always got a chance with our front three. We're frightening, we've got a chance, and we will score goals, we will create opportunities, and we can be clinical enough. It is that defensive thing where last season, maybe season before, there was question marks. You know, will Liverpool's defence be enough? You know, will they have enough defensive quality to withstand a full season, a full tilt? And we came up short on a number of occasions, whereas this time round now, everything looks defensively from the foundation of what we're doing, because we're not even creating susceptible. Like, the best chance that City had was created by our lapse in concentration, not by City's sheer quality, and that says it all for me.
Same as Real Madrid. Like I say, Liverpool have played two of the best teams in Europe. I know both of them have got injuries, not fun, blah, 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 blah. But like, Liverpool's defenders been outstanding. They were comfortable today, and I think Van Dijk and Gomez were at the centre. This literally as well, Errol. That second half, we're all a bit nervous because City are knocking it round and that, but Liverpool felt defensively comfortable. There was no one there who looked panicked. It was only when Doku had a couple of runs where Liverpool looked, and then the manager reacts, which is fair enough. But Liverpool were, again, led by Virgil, how good he was. Balls in the box, we'll deal with them. Yeah. They can get to the edge of our box and they're not getting anything out of it. And you've got to have a certain level of cojones, for lack of a better phrase, to be able to be confident in yourselves. And that Van Dijk Gomez partnership.
But it's all because of momentum and everything. Like, and again, it works the other way, because City defensively have not been great, and they've been conceding goals to almost everybody in the league that they've been playing so far this season. So they feel that they're vulnerable. They feel that, like, you know, when a team gets in behind, there's going to be a chance created. Where it's the reverse of fortunes for Liverpool. Liverpool haven't been leaking goals so far this season. Liverpool haven't been giving away sloppy goals where teams are cutting us. Like, we used to sit here on these shows, a little bit different last year, the setup of the show, but the theme was the same, where you'd sit there and say, Liverpool just concede goals too easy. We give away goals that are just too easily done. Teams are cutting us open and scoring goals that on another day, or with a different setup, or defensively, if he was a little bit better and more switched on, it wouldn't be happening. And this Liverpool side have been able to navigate themselves into a completely different defensive unit using the same parts, but they're now being able to have that confidence that we're not just going to be cut open at will, and we can get ourselves into a really good defensive shape, and we will make it difficult. And, you know, we'll talk on Ryan Gravenberch and the interceptions that he makes in and around the edge of the box in a moment, but being able to have that belief that we've done enough defensive work right for a long enough period now, it means that our confidence levels, that we don't doubt ourselves, we believe in terms of defending and the opportunities that another team gets, will thwart more than we go on to concede. And as I've said, the only opportunities that we're given to teams at the moment is the gifts that we're given. If we cut out giving teams those gifts, we'll just keep stacking up these clean sheets. I've got no doubt about it.
Absolutely. Fingers crossed. Yeah, Virgil Van Dijk to round one, like I say, mostly good. Couple of horrors, sort of my Virgil, yeah, probably should have scored, but other than that, a fantastic defensive display from Liverpool's captain, really.